So I mentioned I had a bit of a personal connection to, if you can call it that, from these big mushrooms, and it was basically just like a mushroom stew kitchen. So if people were moving through and they wanted to grab something to eat to keep their strength up, then they could. And it was a really small, like really minor thing, but for some reason, like, it was my favourite thing about the server was just running this like little mushroom stew outpost in the middle of the server, and it just gave me a real fondness for the dish because it was quite hearty, even though you couldn't stack it, which was annoying. But yeah, I felt like I was doing my part for the server, and that's why I've decided to make it today. Right, so that's all the onion and garlic, and then I'm going to run out of space on this chopping board very quickly. Taking the mushrooms, I'm not going to slice them quite as finely as I've sort of diced this. What I'm actually just going to do is one cut there, to cut them into kind of quarters, because obviously mushrooms, when you cook them, they do reduce in size quite a bit, and because they are the main ingredient, I don't want them to become too small. I want them still to be kind of chunky. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to quarter these mushrooms rather than slicing them, but really you can cut them up however you like. Right, so I actually had to put them back in this bowl because I simply had run out of space on my chopping board, but there it is. There's some diced onion and garlic, and there are some quartered mushrooms. So now we're going to get a casserole dish out. We're going to put a knob of butter in there and just start gently sweating the onions and garlic for a few minutes until they go translucent. That's it. Now, something to bear in mind when you're cooking onions in this way, it's quite important to keep the flame nice and low and kind of do this slowly and gently, because we are using butter, not oil, and butter has a much lower smoking point than, say, vegetable oil. So you don't want to go too crazy with the heat, otherwise you're going to start making things smoke and burn. So what we can do instead is just stick a lid on, kind of let the onions kettle for a little while and sweat that way. Right, now this is probably going to fog up the camera something fierce. Oh no, we're okay. But you can see the onions have started to sweat quite nicely now in the pan, and crucially they haven't started to brown. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to get our mushrooms and tip them all in there, stir them together with the onions, and just keep cooking them for a few minutes. Alright, so hopefully you can see now the mushrooms have started to cook down quite nicely, and already they are reducing in size, which again is why I kept them quartered rather than slicing them. Hello dog. Anyway, so at this stage we need to add in a few more ingredients. If you'll just let me move the camera, we are going to add in a dash of white wine. Not too much, just the end of a bottle really. Then we need a good pinch of salt. Some pepper, quite a big twist really, and then one of my favourite ingredients in the entire world, smoked paprika. I'm going to give this a really good shake to really get that flavour in. There we go, that's loads. And with that, we're just going to start stirring all these ingredients together, and we're going to continue to cook them for another minute or two. Alright, so it's been another couple of minutes, and as you can see we are really motoring now. So we are ready for the next set of ingredients, including the aforementioned sad parsley, 150 millilitres of vegetable stock, and then a good drizzle of single cream, which I just realised I've left in the fridge. Bear with me. Right, yes, so single cream, going to give it a decent drizzle. So we're just going to do this by eye. How much is that? If the whole thing's 284 millilitres, that was maybe 50 ml. 50 ml of single cream there. Let's add a tiny bit more. We'll call that 50 to 70 millilitres of single cream, and you can see there as I've stirred it in already it's starting to look like a really creamy sauce. And alright then, so mushroom stew from Minecraft. Let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.